Knowing that death is not coming is the strangest of feelings. It may have been days that I've laid here on the rocky cliff in pain, but somehow I don't think it's really been that long. I hope that the time that has passed in between each unconscious period was merely hours. Every moment that I lie there, not moving, not trying to get away, was more time wasted as Dahmir wanders around in the corridor, hunting for Cutter Jack, and maybe hunting for Abigail and Keone, wherever they were. It would be very handy if Cutter Jack or Dahmir were already dead when I finally managed to get away, but I had this terrible feeling in my stomach that it would not be quite that simple. A few times I had managed to push myself up and look over the edge to see if the zombies were still there, and search for any signs of Dog Thing, but nothing changed. The bridge that had once spanned the gap all the way to the wall was now completely void of any of the wooden planks that would have made my escape easier. Now, all that remained were some charred lumps here and there. The scaffolding was still there, though, tall struts pointing up into the darkness, held together by crossbeams that looked as though they could collapse at any moment with the slightest disturbance. Eventually I stopped passing out and managed to sit up. I checked what equipment I had left and discovered it was as little as I had expected. A couple of those disposable cigarette lighters, my cigarettes, this pen, and the diary, and a knife was the sum of my resources. And they were only there because Dahmir hadn't ripped off my utility belt whilst he was casting every other useful thing into the darkness below, into the zombies. Oh, and of course, I still had the long blade. That was still there, and thankfully, now no longer stuck through me. I'm going to presume, for hope's sake, that it is still day 53, even though I know it isn't. I examined the wound in my chest and was relieved to see that it had sealed up. It wasn't a neat scar, and my skin was still pale and bruised. In fact, pretty much all of me is pale. My cheeks and hands tingle from the blood loss. My mind drifted back to the moment that I pulled the blade from my chest, and it nearly caused me to throw up. I couldn't even begin to describe the horror of how the jarring of a long blade scraping across my own ribs felt. The pain hadn't been as intense as I had imagined it might be, but the grating against bone had been... I shuddered just thinking about it. I decided that across the scaffolding was my only route of escape. There was no chance at all, not even the slightest of hopes, that I would survive a battle through the zombies below. Even if I did survive the fall to get down to them, there were just too many of them. They'd tear me apart in seconds, just as I presumed they had torn Dog Thing apart. Of course, he could phase out, and I hoped that he had. But I wouldn't be able to do that. I would just be consumed by them. It's ironic, really, when I think about it. Like all of the resistance, I am almost immortal in the way that I can just heal over a very short period of time due to the serum in my blood, but that serum wouldn't matter in the slightest if I was munched on by zombies. And yet, here I was, fighting them yet again. We're always fighting the things that can actually kill us. The Maw had it easy that way. They could phase out and disappear to whatever it was that they went, and just stay there until they healed. And they healed from nearly anything. The Maw. Dog Thing. The hope that I have is that he somehow managed to phase out, like I had discovered he could in my flashbacks. I still don't remember yet ever having seen him or any of the other Maw do it, but when I thought of how Cutter Jack had killed Dog Thing and the other Maw on Meriwether Avenue, I couldn't deny that this strange regenerative ability that they supposedly possessed had to be true. Or had I seen it? Hadn't one of them phased when I was in the ruined city? My head hurts. My mind is also spinning with confusion over Dahamir's action. What had he really to gain by killing me?
To keep listening to this audiobook, I've left you a link in the description so you can do it. at no cost thanks to Audible's 30-day free trial.